Hey man, what's up?
What's up?
Hey, what's going on?
How are ya?
Pretty good. How you doing?
Good, thanks.
Oh, cool. Dave Rude, Tesla, man. It's an honor talking to you.
Oh man, thank you for having me on, man. Stoked to be here.
No problem. I know you wouldn't remember since you're a musician, plus, all the thousands of people you see and stuff like that. Well, my wife contacted you a couple of years ago and asked can you get her passes to photograph the show at Starland Ballroom? And
Oh, New Jersey.
you obliged her all the way.
Oh, great.
So like she's all jealous now that I'm talking to you. So
Well, tell her I said hi. I hope she got some good photos. I love
oh
that
yeah,
that
she
place.
did. She
Starland's
did.
awesome.
Cool, 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 cool. So like in the beginning of your career when you were with Servants, was there any band before that?
Wow, you dug deep, about the servants. All right. Yeah. Let's see. I mean, I was in some bands. I was a late bloomer with bands. I played my whole life. I was like an early starter with music because
Right.
I started taking guitar lessons when I was 9. So I was playing my whole life,
Uh-huh.
but I was sorry. It's actually Brian calling. Um, I uh, I started playing guitar when I was really young and played and was super into music and was playing all the time and learning and listening. But I didn't start playing in bands probably till really after high school. So I was in a couple little local bands. Servants was the first like sort of pro level band where we all were like really focused on like trying to make it and going to the studio and trying to find a manager and going and playing in LA and doing
Right.
showcases and all that type of stuff. So that was the first one before that. And then, within the year after that band broke up, I started my band, my solo thing. And that was 6 months, maybe a little more, maybe till Frank found me on MySpace from my solo band. And that's how I ended up in Tesla.
Cool, cool, cool. So there was no auditions for you to get into the band, right?
No, no, it was crazy, man. Just super lucky and very organic. Frank, like I said, Frank found our MySpace profile
Right.
and um he uh he reached out on MySpace and sent me like a message like they used to have the little email system and it just so happened that he was playing a show in Sacramento, which is only a little over an hour away from where I live, and he invited me up to come jam like 4 or 5 days later from when he
Wow.
sent me that email. I was like, "Hey, I'm playing on Friday if you want to come." I was like, "Sure," you
Yeah.
know. And he was saying, I'm just looking for somebody to play, second guitar in my solo band for a tour that we got coming up.
Right.
Would you be interested? He didn't say anything about Tesla. I mean, obviously I was a huge Tesla fan, so I knew, but I didn't know they were like looking for a new guitar player or anything. So I was just really excited to possibly go out and play with Frank's solo band, and so I went up and did that jam. And there's YouTube footage of it. That was the first day we ever met, and jam went really great, and we hit it off. And the next day he came down to Oakland, and we jammed here, and it was great. So then a couple months later, I was in the band. I was very very lucky, just real a whole bunch of like coincidences and serendipity and just good fortune.
Cool, cool, cool. Now, Servants released two albums, right? One full length and one EP.
Yeah, 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 correct. Yeah, we did a record. I was just going through some boxes. I saw a couple of them. There's a Mostly Monsters, I think was the first record.
Uh-huh.
And I think the EP was self-titled, but I don't think
Right.
they're available on like any streaming. I know every now and again someone will buy one on eBay and like have me sign it. It's like, whoa, I haven't seen this for like a long time.
Cool, cool. Well, congratulations with the new EP, All About Love, which
Thanks.
also come out on orange vinyl, which is cool, you know.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
actually, even one of your solo albums came out on red vinyl, the latest one.
yes, yeah, yeah. The the last album I did it came out. Actually, it's funny. It doesn't feel that long, but technically 2 years because it was 23. It was November 23, so just a little over a year now. Um, I put out a solo album called Through the Fire, and
Right.
the whole like art theme of the cover and everything was red and white with the signature flying V. And so the label said, "What if we made like a really cool all red vinyl,
Right.
was
Yeah.
pressing it." And we did it, and it was super fun.
Cool, cool. Yeah, yeah. I was looking at some of the bundle packages that you have available. I don't know if they're still available, but they were pretty cool. You know, different bundle, like the CD and the album and this and that, and really cool looking. So let's go to the first solo album, the EP that was 2007. Tell me a little bit about that when you started writing that and how'd that go?
Oh, wait, my solo
Yeah,
EP?
yeah.
Oh wow. Gosh, yeah, that one was I had just joined Tesla, and I was just writing. I've always written a lot of songs. Every band I was in, I usually was writing a lot of the music, and so I had just started doing my solo band anyways, um, right before I ended up, joining Tesla, and they were always very supportive, like, no, keep doing your own thing. It's all good. We're all doing our own projects also, so go ahead. And so I kept doing that, and I remember I was writing songs when we were making Reel to Reel, that the covers of we were in
Yeah,
Texas, and I remember, we were very busy and doing a lot of work, but then there'd be a lot of times, a lot of downtime, like that. They're working on like drum tones for the next 5 hours, like go kill some time. And so
yeah.
I'd be like, just go in the corner and write a song. But it's like, oh, this isn't really a Tesla type song. This is something for me. And so I turned it into a song. So I don't know, just over that sort of year or two, and just a lot of them came in from jams because back in those days I was really trying to focus on that solo band as like a becoming a real entity of its own. So like we were rehearsed. I'd be on tour with Tesla for a month, and then I'd come home for a month, and we'd be rehearsing 4 or 5 nights a week. So I wasn't really home that much even when I was home. But yeah, it was just sort of came out organic. I was figuring it all out. It was my
Right.
first thing as a solo artist. So it's just like writing and like, oh, that's cool. Let's record it.
Cool. Now the next album came out, Carry Me Home in 2009. Can you tell me anything about that one?
Yeah, that one, same thing, just getting a little more refined. By that point, it was more of a band. We'd done a lot of like touring and a lot of local shows and tons of rehearsing. So, it was gelling a lot. We cut that one, I think, pretty live in the studio with a little bit of overdubs. That one was nice. It was pretty fast to record. And yeah, there's a song on there called Dumb that I'm really proud of that song. I've always loved that one. Um, and there's a couple on there that I still, really like a lot. And if I do like a solo acoustic show, I'll still throw in one of those songs. Devil's Embrace was one of the first songs I ever wrote.
Uh,
Um, when I very first started a solo thing, and I still like that song. Anyways, yeah, that was a fun one, and that was really right in the heart of really pushing the solo thing. So we're doing tons of gigs and just being really active. It was a lot of fun.
cool, cool. Now in 2013, The Key. Tell me a little bit about that album.
Yeah, the key. It was funny. We sort of ended up turning that ended up being an album, but originally it was just going to be a couple of singles. Like my friend Mark Capitan, who produced the album, he's got a studio in Fresno. He's like, "Hey man, you guys want to come down for a weekend and like cut a song or two? You can do it." And I was like, "Oh, it'd be great. We can like release them as like a single or you know." And we did, and we came down and recorded. It's like, "Oh, this was awesome. It was great. We should come back down next weekend too." Like, yeah. So it just kept like snowballing, and it's like, well, if we came down another couple of weekends, it'll turn into an album. And so why don't we wait? And so we just kept doing that. And it maybe took like a year or something to record, but not because it was not for any bad reason. It was just we'd all have to schedule
Right.
getting where we are is 3 hours away, so we'd have to like some people guys would have to take off work or whatever, and we'd have to be down there for a few days. And then I was touring a lot. So, we'd have to fit everything around my touring schedule with Tesla. And when Mark's and his studio were available. So, it was sort of fits and starts, but with probably a bulk of it all at once, and then maybe a couple little extra sessions about a year. And then we started getting less and less busy. I got so it was kind of a little bit more of a back burner thing until we finally finished it. It's like, you know what? The band was already over at that point, my solo band. It's like, but we got all these songs. We should put them out. Let's because we had been playing them live, so I already felt like we'd gotten use out of the songs. Like they
Uh,
felt. It's like it's done. It sounds amazing. We should at least put it out in the world, and even though we're not going to do any shows, and that's what we did.
cool, cool, cool. Now the latest one, 2023, Through the Fire. Tell me a little bit about that. And it's still available, right, on your website and stuff like that.
Yeah. It's on ratpackrecords.com,
Right,
RATPAK records.com. And I actually have some. I have some here that I'm gonna start probably putting up on my website, like some vinyl, some signed vinyl.
right.
Um, but that hasn't happened yet. But yeah, right now the label still has vinyl, CDs, cassette. That was a cool thing when Rat Pack said, "Hey man, we want to put out your new your new record also on cassettes. Are you down?" I was like,
Right, yeah,
"Yeah."
yeah,
Like, why does anyone want cassettes? He's like, "Yes, people are really into buying cassettes right now." I was like,
yeah,
"Okay, if give them what they want."
right.
And it's the coolest thing because that was like the first thing I saw when he showed me like test pressings or whatever.
Uh-huh.
He brought me the tape. Like, this is so cool. Because when I was a kid, I didn't have a CD player.
Yeah,
I used
yeah,
like the little cassette Walkman, and all
uh-huh.
my favorite records were on cassettes. And I still remember like unfolding the gatefold, all that. So it was actually pretty fun to have it on
Wow,
tape.
cool,
But
cool,
yeah,
cool.
it's all still available, and on all the streaming stuff where we don't make a dime, but if you want to, you can hear it on your phone, or you can
Cool.
buy one and have. Actually, it was cool. We did put a lot of time. Like it's got a bunch of pages on the liner notes, says all the lyrics, cool bunch of photos. I did a big photo shoot for it, so it does look pretty cool if you're into like me, like the whole experience of an album and like the I would always every time I got a record, I'd like read along to the
Yeah,
lyrics and I'd
yeah,
read
yeah.
liner notes and the thank yous and
Uh-huh.
all the assistant engineers, the credits, and all the nerdy stuff. Like, if you're into that, it's got all of that.
Cool, cool. If you had a choice, what would you do? Vinyl, cassette, download, CD? What's your favorite?
Like as a fan, like if I was going to buy a record,
Yeah,
well, gosh, that's when it gets tricky, and that's why I never fault anybody for streaming because it is so easy.
yeah.
Ideally, I would definitely say vinyl.
Uh,
Second would be CD. Realistically, I almost always just stream stuff on my phone because we got like what 8 7 8 years ago we got a new car and you couldn't even get a car with a CD player anymore because we
right,
bought it
yeah.
like
Yep.
I was like, okay, but I want to get the one with CD. It was like, oh well, we'd have to
Uh,
like order it from the factory. It's gonna be like an extra $1,000. I'm like, for a CD player? Like, yeah.
eh,
So like, okay, no, we'll just take this one. And so it's really hard to listen to the CDs and
right,
like with your player, but I'm gone all the time. So I don't, I've got a small vinyl collection and I love to put on a record, but it's man, I got a kid now, I got a puppy. There's not a lot of time to just like sit and like enjoy some music and zone out and like
yeah,
go
yeah.
into your head. So realistically, I listen to a lot on my headphones from my
Uh-huh.
phone or Bluetooth in the car. So but again, ideally, absolutely the vinyl. And now that I got that record player a couple years ago, I've gotten into like, bigger records. My favorite ones, like buying one and like, oh, it's so cool.
Yeah.
Because again, to see it in real life is it's just exciting. Even now, even after all
Right,
these.
yeah. Definitely, definitely. Vinyl's, I think, the way to go from now on. But because, like, even CDs, like laptops and everything, they don't even have a CD where you can't put it in it
I
anymore.
mean, dude, like when we moved a couple months ago and we're like throwing all like going through boxes that we had in our garage and it's like okay, we don't need this, don't need this. And boxes of DVDs, and I'm
Uh-huh.
like, and like, granted, I haven't watched them in like quite a while, but it's like I consolidated them down into like one storage tub because like, man, I don't want to get rid of all these things. Like, I know it's hard to even find a DVD player, but
Yeah,
like, I basically kept all the music with like Zeppelin, Guns N'
right.
Roses, all the Metallica stuff. Like, I
Yeah.
can't throw this shit away. It's awesome.
Cool, cool. Yeah, it's definitely like collector item too now, you
Oh
know?
yeah, big time.
Yeah, especially if you have like original albums and stuff. I
Yeah.
love the albums because I love reading the lyrics along with the album. So,
Hmm.
with a CD, it's kind of small. With a cassette, it's even smaller,
Right.
but like the LP got, big lyrics on it and stuff like that. And you could read along to the song and get the vibe of the album, you
For
know?
sure.
So cool. So when you go out on tour and like like songs like love songs, Little Susie, signs and stuff like that,
Yeah.
does that blow your mind that you're part of that now?
It still does. Yeah, it's been this year is 19 years.
Yeah,
And I get that asked that a lot, and honestly, it's still so much fun to play
right,
all
yeah,
those songs, and because they're great songs. I grew up listening to those songs. I was a fan first,
right.
and so then to it's like a big honor to be now in the band and get to play those songs
Right.
live, and there's like a big connection. You can feel it in the room. And so, when Frank starts bang,
Yeah.
bang, dun, dun, on the beginning of Love Song, people lose their mind.
Yeah.
That's just one, boom, it's two notes. People go, and like you can feel it. It's
Yeah.
really cool.
Yeah.
All those signs, as soon as they start, the first note, the first strum of Little Susie, everyone goes, yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's like, yeah, okay, or signs, or it's like, okay, people say, God, don't you get sick of playing signs every night? It's like, no, because
Uh-huh.
everyone goes so crazy. They have so much fun when we play signs that it's fun for us. At least, that's how I feel. I know the other guys do too. It's like it's always so much fun to play those songs, even though we've played them a bunch of times. It's
Right.
just the to see the reaction of the fans is what makes it exciting.
Cool. Cool. Tell me a little bit about the Keep On Real tour coming up.
Oh yeah, yeah, keeping it real. Yeah, we're just sort of keeping trekking. Could be keep on trekking too, because we're just still going. Like
Uh-huh.
that was yeah, we were doing the keeping it real last year too, and we're leaving next week. Or actually, a week from right now, I'll be on an airplane,
Uh-huh.
and that'll be out for like a 3 week run. We got some Midwest. I think we're going to the UP, Minnesota maybe, and then a bunch of Florida stuff, and then the big sort of centerpiece of that run is the Monsters of Rock cruise,
Right. Yeah.
which is super fun. We've done a lot of those through the years. We skipped last year, but um, there was a long time we did every year in a row. So it's always great to do Monsters of Rock cruise. The people are great, the bands are great. We get to hang with the fans all the time. It's beautiful. You're out in the
Right.
Caribbean, and so that's the big one right now that I'm looking forward to. And then we got Florida dates before, we got Florida dates after. And then yeah, we'll be just doing our own thing through the rest of the year, and a lot of shorter runs, fly dates, and some festivals. I know we're doing Summerfest in Milwaukee with Def Leppard, so I'm really looking forward to that one too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely, definitely. At least you're in a good time of music and stuff like that. Because even if you're on tour, you could still talk to your wife or girlfriend and your son or whatever through FaceTime. So like, at least you got like connection. When back in the day, you got a phone.
Oh man,
Whoever.
yeah, big time. Yeah, my wife and I talk all the time, every day, and FaceTime's huge, especially with our son. So
Right.
to be able to actually like see each other live is really really great, and it makes touring a little bit less,
Yeah.
like it makes the being away from your family a little less difficult.
Yeah. What's your feeling about the meet and greets? You like them?
Just doing them in general.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're cool, man. We haven't done a lot of them lately. I mean, there's always some little meet and greet in there now, somewhere. A lot of casinos we do meet and greets now, but we haven't done the VIP meet and greets for a while. We used to. For a couple of years we were doing them, and they were great. You get to meet people and hang and with a little bit more time
Uh-huh.
than traditional meet and greets. Usually pretty quick. Um, so it's great. It's because usually also the thing is with meet and greets, for some reason, I think it makes sense because people aren't at the show early, right? So it's
Right.
usually like within an hour before you're on stage, and that's kind of when we're all kind of getting in our zone. Like I don't really want to go like, hey, like I'm like stretching out, I'm warming up, I'm like kind of getting ready for the show. So it can be a little distracting, but if it's a little earlier, then it's great because then it's like, oh, wait, I'm just hanging out anyways. I'd rather
Yeah.
come hang with fans and then go get ready. So that was also nice on the VIP meet and greets we used to do because they were at sound check. So that was like middle of the day. Like, if we're done with
Right.
sound check, there's always time to kill after. So it was always good to meet people there. But yeah, man, Tesla, before I was in the band and ever since, really big on connecting with the fans and because I've been the guy waiting out back behind the
Yeah.
gig to like meet people and I met most of them and they're always really nice. And then since I joined the band, it's the same. Like so, we always will say hi to people outside the bus or walking around town.
And who's your favorite guitarist?
That's a tough one. That's a tough one. I mean, I would say it's Slash or Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Huh?
or Jimmy Page. I don't, all the classic guys. Slash was the biggest one for me. That's like, what's he's my probably number one influence.
Right.
And I still love everything he's done. So I'm a huge fan. But yeah, I've sort of gone through big phases of every. Stevie is definitely one of the top guys.
Right.
Eddie Van Halen, Dimebag, really, yeah, all the guys that are a little weird
Uh,
and really have a thing and melody but that identifiable, like that's him. Like you can
yeah.
tell in one note, like that's that dude, Zach Wild. Boom, okay, there he
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
So I guess, yeah, that probably, yeah, Slash and Stevie Ray Vaughan. Maybe we'll go with those for now.
Cool. Cool. So is Tesla working on new material now?
Not like in earnest, like we always got ideas cooking.
Uh,
Um, and we're still sort of on that single every year type of vibe. This, All About Love was originally that.
right.
And then it turned into like, oh, what if we did these other versions?
Uh,
And what if we did some live stuff and turned it into an EP, and we could put it on vinyl because our fan base, appreciates the vinyl experience and all that, and we knew people would get excited about it, so we went with that. But originally, it's just like, okay, we've got another song and let's release it and
right.
keep the machine moving. So I think last I've heard, last we chatted about it or anything, we've had a couple months off now. Is still pretty much, do a single here and there.
Right.
Because we love to make new music and it's exciting for us to do it. And we're really lucky because Tesla has a lot of diehard fans. So I think we're definitely one of those rare uh, older bands where most of the crowd actually does like the new songs, and you
Right.
don't like see everybody go get a beer when you play the new song, which is nice. And
Yeah.
so that's great, and it's fun for us. But at the same time, it's to make a full album
Right.
takes a lot of time, a lot of money, and
Yeah.
it's time that we're not going to be on the road. So it makes more sense for us to just be touring. And if we
Yeah.
can kind of squeeze in a song or two here and there, because we all have recording studios, um, like because the digital recording is very easy. I mean, my
Right.
recording
Yeah.
studio fits in a box.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I literally recorded most of my solo record in hotel rooms and dressing rooms. We recorded most of Shock in hotel rooms and dressing rooms because
Right.
you fit all your computer stuff in a box, and then you just got to go in to a nice studio for drums and vocals, really. Um, and so because it's so easy, we can just do it on the road
Uh,
or day off. Um, and or go on a weekend
uh,
if we're not on tour and just knock everything out. Brian has an amazing, real,
uh,
full-blown professional studio where he lives in New York, and so that's where we recorded All About Love, and it's easy. We can all just be there for 2, 3 days and walk out with a finished song or two. That is more doable. But as far as like, oh, let's go take 6 months off
right.
and record, like there's no point. Like what we were talking about before with vinyl and CDs versus
Right.
streaming, there is zero money in streaming for
Right.
bands, even like well-known bands like us. Like we don't make any money from streaming.
Right.
So um, you put in all this time and money and then make literally zero. Like, well, that doesn't make sense. And people are coming out to see the old songs anyway. So let's just keep touring,
Right. Yeah.
throw in one or two new songs as we're releasing them, and maybe eventually put them into a collection and put it out as an album. We'll see.
Right. What about a new solo album?
I actually have been thinking about doing that just because the last one was sort of a really long period. I'm saying that a lot lately. The Key took a long time, but Through the Fire took a really long time because I started writing those songs years ago, and then before we even made Simplicity, and then it was like, oh, we're gonna make a test record. Oh, okay, well, I'll put this on back burner.
Right.
Got into Tesla writing mode, and then touring and this, and I'd chip away at it here and there, and it's like, okay, I'm gonna finish that solo record. And it's like, oh, cool, now we're making Shock, and we're gonna go out with Def Leppard for like all these years. Like, all right, well, I'll put that on hold too. So it took a long time, but I like the idea of sort of knocking it out and
Right.
writing, because I'm always writing songs. I do a lot of songwriting outside of the band for other artists and
Uh,
co-writing. So I'm thinking, well, I'd like to maybe do that with a focus of making a new solo record fast, like not
yeah.
in a rush, but like not just like, oh, whatever, it's done. Like I want to be like, I got a month to make a record.
Yeah.
Let me see how it comes out. Because it's like if it doesn't if it sucks, it sucks. It's here. Like I don't have to really pay for studio time. I can
Right.
just,
Yeah. Yeah.
I just wasted a couple hours, no big deal. But yeah, I think I'll probably do another solo record. And I actually might be doing some dates this year, some solo dates around Tesla's schedule, for Through the Fire. So, definitely excited to maybe do some more solo stuff.
Cool. Cool. What's your feeling about Brian Reed working with Chris Holmes of WASP?
What's he doing? I haven't heard about him. What's he doing with?
It says a new band with Chris Holmes from WASP.
Hey man, you're
I
the
only read it today.
hot off the press. I haven't heard this yet. So
Wow.
this is news to me. This is the first I've heard of it. I don't know. I know they're buddies.
Uh-huh.
'Cause I think they met on the cruise because Chris has come out on the cruise a couple times. I think I met him. We did a festival in Europe in 2019. I remember seeing him there. I think I met him, and I don't know. That might have been where Brian met. I don't know, but I know they bonded and
Yeah.
became fast friends and have hung a lot. So I don't know if they've got something going on. That's pretty cool. I've heard he's a great guy, and I saw him on the cruise the last time we were there. I think it was the last cruise we did, and I heard actually it was funny. I was doing something else, and
Uh,
I heard the band, and I was like, who's that? Because it's like all these 80s bands that I grew up, so I usually can hear it's like, okay, that's Faster Pussycat. Oh, it's Extreme playing. I was like, what's this? It's awesome. And like
uh,
I went outside and I was like, holy shit, it's Chris Holmes.
yeah.
Because I don't know any of his solo stuff. I mean, I don't think he's put out a lot of solo records. And it was fucking badass, dude. Like he could
Yeah.
play. It was like, oh, fucking cool. So um if they're doing a project together, I mean Brian's great. So I'm sure
Yeah.
it'll be awesome.
It says Brian, Tommy, and Chris Holmes.
Well, you left that part out. I didn't know
Yeah.
about Tom. No, that
Yeah.
would be cool, man.
Yeah. Well, that question's blown because I was going to ask, did you get to see them yet or play or whatever? But
Yeah, no, I hadn't heard about it. No,
cool, cool. Anything else you want to talk about that I missed?
no, man. Just
Coming up?
that's it. We're just ready to get back on the road next week, man. Stoked for the year.
Cool, cool. Well, Dave Rude, Tesla, congratulations again on the EP. It was great chatting with you. Would you like to say anything to the fans out there?
Oh man, just thanks for all the continued support, and we're looking forward to rocking with you again this year.
Cool, cool. Thanks a lot, Dave.
Thank you, man. Good to see you.
You too. Bye bye.
All right, man. Take care.